Assalamu alaikum. So the question here is, should we focus on vocabulary or grammar? So this is a question that I get asked quite a lot, and it's a pretty hot topic between the Arabic learners. In my opinion, the question is it's kind of flawed from the get-go, meaning that why are we having to choose? Do they not go hand in hand? Do they not benefit each other? So grammar is only going to help our comprehension, but we can't comprehend something without vocab, right? So what I would say is that you should focus on vocab, but also take what you need from grammar, but not going too deep into grammar to the point that you're doing grammatical analysis of a sentence that you don't understand, which is what we call i'rab, grammatical analysis of a sentence, basically naming all of the words that are functioning within the sentence. Basically, a mistake that students make is that they fall into focusing on grammar so much to the point that they are neglecting learning vocab. And they'll go deep into grammar to the point where they're learning i'rab and all these things, and you can give them a sentence and they can tell you the i'rab of this sentence, the fa'il, the maf'ul bihi, the jar, the majroor, the maf'ul bihi, mansoob, wa alamatu nasbihi al-fatha. They know all of this, but they don't know the meaning of the sentence because they don't have the vocabulary. So what are the things that we need from grammar? Number one is that you need to be able to recognize a verb from a noun, from a harf, I don't know what you call it in English, like a particle or something. Basically something other than a verb and a noun. So you got asma, which are verbs, af'al, we've got asma, which are nouns, we've got af'al, which are verbs, and we've got huruf, which are like particles, neither verbs or nouns. You need to recognize these. Number two is you need to be able to conjugate them. So you need to be able to add pronouns to them, like kitabuhu, kitabuha, his book, her book. You need to, conjugate the verbs, adhabu, yadhabu, like I go, he goes, dhahabtu, I went, the past, the present, stuff like this. You need to recognize verb patterns, which this technically falls into sarf, but it does come often in the books of grammar and in general books of qawaid, like rules of the language. This is majorly helpful. This was a game changer for me. Once I learned the verb patterns, you're then able to look up verbs so much easier. The verbs that are not just thulathi, like 3-letter verbs, but are more than that. So on the pattern of, for example, istaf'ala yastafilu, like istaghfara yastaghfiru. And these patterns as well, they're fixed patterns, so you will know the masdar. You need to be able to understand basic sentence structures, like nominal sentences and verbal sentences, because in Arabic we have verbal sentences, not like in English. In Arabic you can start a sentence with a verb. So saying, I don't know, kharaja Zayd min al-fasl is the same as saying Zayd kharaja min al-fasl. It's the same kind of meaning, that Zayd, left the classroom basically, yeah? But you can start with the verb, which if you don't study this beforehand is going to throw you off massively. You also need to know basic grammar structures. So the grammar structures that are going to directly impact the meaning. Basic ones like mudaf, mudaf ilay. For example, saying kitabul mudarrisi, kitabul mudarris, like the teacher's book. This is going to help you massively. This directly impacts the meaning. Stuff like na'at man'ut. The difference between saying هذه شقة جميلة or saying هذه الشقة جميلة. You need to know that the first one is na'at man'ut, meaning this is a beautiful apartment. Okay? And the second one, هذه الشقة جميلة, is this apartment is beautiful. You need to know the difference. So what do you need from vocabulary? Well, it's kind of self-explanatory. Obviously you need vocab. But after you've done the first section that I mentioned of recognizing the the like types of words, knowing the verb patterns and stuff like this. Basically, you need to know this to be able to look up the verbs, look up the nouns. You need this kind of prior information to make your life easier, to be able to read on your own, basically, which is the goal. You want to be able to read on your own with a dictionary and just gain as much vocab as possible. So for the nouns, you want to look up the singular and the plural and learn them together. That'll make your life easier. For the verbs, you need to look up the tasrif. For those of you who don't know what the tasrif is basically the past, the present, the command form, and in English I think you call it the verbal noun. You don't have to go crazy with this and start doing the ism fa'il, ism maf'ul and all the rest of it. I think those four will suffice, especially in the beginning stages. So al-madi, al-mudari', al-amr and al-masdar. So the past tense, the present tense, the command form, and the verbal noun, I think it's called. Like for example, dakhala, yadkhulu, udkhul, dukhul. You also want to gather common phrases. So you'll do this from reading and listening, but you want to gather them, like connective phrases, common phrases, like saying on the other hand, or saying by the way. These little phrases, they're very, very good and useful to know. And you want to be reading and listening as much as possible to make this vocab stick. This is going to be the key here, really. You need to read and listen as much as possible to make the vocab stick. You also have to have a lot of patience with learning vocabulary. It's probably the biggest preventative factor from you understanding the language, as there's just so much of it, you know. But the thing is to not get overwhelmed. Take it step by step. Like if you're climbing a mountain, don't look to the summit, just put one foot in front of the other. That's the only way to do this. Don't get overwhelmed and think, oh, there's thousands and thousands and thousands of words that I need to learn. Just word by word, basically, literally word by word. Just gather them, learn them, read them, listen to them in context, let them stick, keep pushing forward, keep chipping away. You have to just chip away and chip away and chip away. One thing you could do is like learn the most common words first, which there's like word lists and stuff that you can get for the most frequent words. But I think you can naturally do this anyway, just through like reading, especially if you get graded readers. Graded readers are good for this because they're basically made up of common, frequent words, and if they're graded, they'll be easier words as well. No, they're like vocab will be easier. So getting graded readers and basically just doing intensive reading with them where you're looking up every word that you don't understand. You'll just gather all the most common words like that naturally. Or you can do extensive reading, which you're just going to just read and read and read and read. Even if you don't understand some words, just kind of keep on going. And then if you see a word that keeps on popping up often, then choose to look that word up. There's different ways to approach this. Intensive, extensive, and I'll probably do a video on this at some point in time as well, inshallah. However, the graded readers are much more fun once you already have a foundation in the language. So once you've worked your way through a program, you know how to conjugate the verbs and this and that. You have a foundation in vocabulary, a foundation in basic grammar. Then the graded readers will be much more fun. If not, it'll be a bit painstaking to work your way through them. I can't stress enough that the thing that is going to really improve your Arabic is how many hours do you actually spend with it. And I don't mean how many hours studying rules or how many hours doing homework exercises. I mean actually engaging with the language, the real language, listening to it and reading it. That is the number one factor. How many hours do you spend reading? How many hours do you spend listening? Well, I hope that helps, guys. Please like and subscribe to support the channel. If you are interested in learning Arabic, I do offer one-to-one lessons, and it's a personal goal of mine to help as many people learn the Arabic language as possible. So if you are interested, I will leave a link in the description, or I will pin a comment or something like that. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Assalamu alaikum.